Hello, my name is Clayton Roberts. I'm at JTech. I'm gonna go over a few sensor and sensor locations and the functions that they do on the Peterbilt Cummins ISX. There's a lot of different sensors on here. We're just gonna go over the basic sensors and try to give a brief description of what they do and how they work. Okay, we're gonna start over here with our fuel pressure gauge. Our fuel pressure sensor correction, and our fuel temperature sensor. Now the purpose of the fuel pressure and fuel temperature sensor is to see that the system is applying enough pressure so that it can go up to the injectors and to press the temperature so as the fluid adequate. You don't want your temperature to overheat or be too low of a temperature. And now all these are sent from these sensors to the ECM, and when it's sent to the ECM, then ECM makes appropriate actions to whether to let a warning or indicate that something is wrong with the system. Here we are again. This is the crank position sensor. This allows the ECM to allow to know what position and the revolutions that the crank is making in order to match with the crank with the cam position sensor, so that the proper timing can be, so that the proper timing is done in order for fuel injection, and to know if there's any kind of wear or anything malfunctioning in the engine. And of course, this also goes from these sensors to the ECM to get the data, and once the data is in, then the ECM applies it to whether it's a warning sign or to properly inject fuel and so forth for better emissions. And here we are again. This is another sensor that we are located in the housing for the thermostat. This sensor here also tells us what our water temperature is running, so that we can run at an appropriate water temperature, so that the engine doesn't overheat or underheat. And this is the sensor that lets you know. And this comes from this sensor here. Also, it goes to the ECM, and the ECM calculates that in the clock and lets the driver know, or lets us know what's happening with our engine. And last but not least, we have the oil pressure sensor. That's what's kind of right behind the fuel filter. It goes right into the block back here. I don't know if you can see that or not. It's like right there. My finger's touching it. And that does the same thing. It monitors the oil pressure to let you know if your engine is adequate with oil. What it does is it sends the signal to the ECM as well. And the ECM reads out and tells the input to the engine, and it tells the input to the driver as well. This is just a series of sensors that's on the truck. There's many more sensors that's all located, over 100 some odd sensors that's on this truck. And these are just a few that we're going over, just as a demonstration and just a general knowledge of what the location and where they are and what they do. Thank you.